What's up, guys? It is Reynad back, coming to you straight from Sydney, Australia. I have the Opera House back there in the background of a pretty sweet view. I'm recording this from my hotel room, and yeah, I'm here for the Blizzard Hearthstone Invitational. I've been casting it. It's been really cool to see the decks that all the pro players have been bringing to the early days for the new Kobolds meta, just to kind of see what they think is really powerful. And I'm just really looking forward to spending a bit more time here. Most people are flying out tomorrow, I think, but I'm actually going to be staying for a full week extra so that I can record IRL streams here with a full production crew and like really high-end production. And it's something you guys might have heard me mention on stream before, but I want to move my stream in that direction, and I want to do it at just a higher quality than anyone else. So we're going to do some really cool stuff. Hope you guys tune in for that over on my Twitch channel starting on December 12th. Will be the first day we stream. Anyway, this time around, Blizzard gave us only like a couple days between the like revealing all the cards for Kobolds and Catacombs and the expansion release itself. So everybody was rushing to crank out these set reviews within like a 2-day span, and you know, when all that many set reviews release, it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Reynad, you have the only set review that matters. You should make one anyway. I want to watch it. You're so damn good looking. I know, guys, but I wanted to give you something a little bit different just because so many other people release these set reviews, and I figured, you know, let's do something a little bit more unique. So what I'm going to do is a meta review. It's just a couple days after Kobolds, and I'm going to make some bold claims about where I think the meta is going to trend. And I think there's actually a really, really big problem with the meta right now that's probably going to force a change. I think Blizzard should change a specific card as a result of Kobolds, and I'm going to talk about all that later on in this video. Before I get to that, though, I wanted to give a big shout out to Felix Gray, which is a company we've been working with Tempo Storm. They've been sponsoring the entire team, sending out gear to all of our players, and actually have been carrying around a pair with me the entire time. For those of you guys that don't know, Felix Gray is a company that makes gaming glasses, which is something you're pretty familiar with, just like gaming or computer glasses, right? I mean, if you're sitting in front of a monitor for hours and hours and hours on end, it's going to strain your eyes after a while. So wearing glasses is something that can help with that, something that filters the correct lights. So the nice thing about Felix Gray, this is kind of the box it came in. I'll just show you. This is pretty much what I carry around when I travel, usually just this carrying case. You get the glasses in there. So the nice thing about Felix Grays is they filter blue light, and you know, they help protect your eyes when you're sitting in front of the monitor for a long time, but they do it while looking pretty fashionable, right? It's completely clear lenses, as you can see. So they are not putting on any like ugly tints or coatings that make it look like gamery glasses. They're just like normal, fashionable, like computer glasses, basically. So I basically wear these while I'm doing work, while I travel, pretty much always. I haven't really used them in recordings yet, just because people are so used to like seeing me without them on. But you know, I'm gonna shout out a sponsor. They've been supporting us for a long time, and you know, these guys deserve it. So I'm going to give them a shout out while I do this meta review. So anyway, Reynad, what's good in Kobolds? What should I craft? What legendaries are good? What's bad? Well, I think as people are going to very quickly discover in the next week or two, this is the most impactful card in Kobolds and Catacombs, in my opinion. And a lot of people will after playing with it for a while, realize, hey, this is a 0-mana 5/5 that I just keep in my opening hand and blow my opponent out with. Sure, it's a little high variance because it's not always a good top deck, but the main issue is that if you don't play Corridor Creeper in your aggro deck and your opponent does, you're going to get blown out. There's no way you're recovering from a 0-mana 5/5 in a board-based like tempo matchup. So you pretty much need to play this card because other people are going to be playing this card. So the reason I wanted to make this video, or one of the many reasons, is to kind of prevent the blame from Corridor Creeper in a way, because I think that left unchecked, Reddit in their infinite fucking wisdom is going to think that, oh, Corridor Creeper needs to be nerfed, it's in every deck, this card's a problem. But the truth is, it's not really Corridor Creeper's fault at all. The reason Corridor Creeper is in every deck is because this fucker is in every deck. And this is in every deck because it is the worst designed Hearthstone card of all time. And the reason Creeper is so good is because every single deck can play patches. the best version of every single deck, in my opinion, moving forward through Kobolds will be patches, with a couple exceptions, like, Priest. I just kind of wanted to talk about that problem in general. So, what are some good decks, Reynad, in the first couple days? Well, Tempo Rogue was good before the expansion, and now it has Corridor Creepers and a couple other tools. So, here's a Tempo Rogue list that's solid. Tier 1 deck. It's an excellent deck. Let's play some early dudes, some pirates to get control of the board, so some tempo stuff, some South Sea Captain, just good efficient dudes, plays a tempo game and kills your opponent. Okay, I mean, what's another good deck? Warlock got a lot of new tools. It got a cool, like, Spellstone to gain life with. It got Skull of Men and blah, blah, blah that summons demons and stuff. It got Void Lord, Oakenheart, all these sick cards. Well, the best Warlock deck's actually just Zoo. And, of course, Warlock doesn't have weapons, but let's put Pirates in it anyway, just because we can. Because Patches is so well balanced that the best 3-drop in the game is actually South Sea Captain in a deck with no other Pirates. Well, okay, I mean, Zoo has always been a good deck, right? So, I mean, it's not that surprising that it's good after it got a couple new tools. That's fine, right? As metagame's safe. Well, what about Druid? Druid got some cool cards. It got Twig. Let's build a cool Druid deck. Let's play Arcane Tyrant, and Ultimate Infestation's so broken, and there's all these good cards and tools. It's a good deck. It's better. Pirates. This is the best Druid deck. Just play some Pirates and shit. Get control of the early board, snowball, burn your opponent out. Pretty much Tempo Rogue, and just in a different class that doesn't even have weapons. Okay, I mean, I'm being a little unfair, right? I've listed a few classes that already had archetypes that took advantage of patches, archetypes that pretty much has gotten new tools and were already strong. What about a deck like Hunter that never saw play before, right? I mean, it got so many cool new options, right? I mean, there's like Flanking Strike now, you have Spellstone, you have Secrets. The All-Spell Hunter deck, Reddit is claiming, is really good now. You're seeing it on ladder a lot. So what's the best Hunter deck? What's the best Hunter card that I got in the new expansion? Well, actually, it's just Candle Shot, because you needed a way to enable fucking South Sea Deckhand. This is the best Hunter deck. You just burn your opponent out. Are there Spellstones? No. Are there Secrets? No. It's an aggro deck with the same exact strategy as Tempo Rogue, Aggro Druid. It's all flavors of the same shit in different classes. And it's a bold claim to claim that these are like the best archetypes 2 days into the expansion, but I think you're kind of noticing a pattern with like what I think the metagame will devolve into once people stop trying out all this cutesy fun stuff and actually try to win games. Because this is the kind of shit that's going to dominate the metagame, and there isn't really a way to fix it. Even decks like Big Mage, they got all these cool shiny tools, all these big spells, and like it's an archetype that was pushed very heavily. You know what Mage is good at? Pirates. You play fucking Pirates in everything. You play Corridor Creeper in everything because you have Patches, and Patches enables Corridor Creeper. And you end up having to play cards like South Sea Captain in a deck with no other Pirates just because 66% of the time or something, it's just the best 3-drop in the game. It's like a Mukla with no drawback, but better because one of the minions has charge. It's like, how do you not play that on average, So you end up just playing all decks with the same strategy in different flavors. Sure, this one has a bit of a secret twist and everything, but you're doing the same thing, right? You're playing early game stuff, you're playing Pirates, you're trading minions, you're playing Corridor Creeper, and you're burning your opponent. And it's the same exact strategy across everything. Do you think Recruit Warrior is good? No, Pirates. Like, you do it with everything. Like, this is probably the best archetype across every single class except Priest. And I don't want to play a metagame where, like, everybody's playing Patches except for a Priest opponent. It's like every single game's the same no matter what class your opponent's playing. And I think that is just so absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure maybe I'm wrong, right? I'm claiming what, like, the best archetype for every class in the game is right now on, like, day 2 of the expansion. Maybe that's a little ambitious. I don't know. I don't think I'm wrong about this. I think that there's a pattern in Hearthstone where the cards that decide how a metagame runs are basically the best early game things you can do. Like, the best thing you can do in Standard to get control of the board in the first couple turns is usually the best deck. So what I mean by that is, like, when Shaman was dominant for a year, it's because Totem Golem was just, like, Totem Golem plus Tunnel Trog were just the best early game things, period. Plus we had Spirit Claw for a while, which is also busted. So, like, With Shaman, you just had like the best openers, so you beat everything else. Because the first couple turns in Hearthstone are orders of magnitude more important than the mid game and the late game. Like, things that happen on turn 1 and 2 are like 10 times more important than things that happen on turn 4. Because you can already decide who's going to win a game by that point. Because like Hearthstone, I keep mentioning this in my videos, Hearthstone's a game where the attacker decides what minion attacks what minion. In a game like Magic, it's the defender that decides which minions are trading. But in Hearthstone, it's the attacker, so it's a very snowbally game. And I think Blizzard's kind of recognized this. They've stopped printing 1 and 2 mana cards that just kill your opponent on their own, like Tunnel Trog. And, the biggest 2-drop you can find nowadays is like, 2 mana 2/3 in Standard. But Patches is this relic of the past that is basically just the best early game thing in the game, period. And it's available to every single class. So the issue with Patches is like, a South Sea deckhand, a 1 mana 2/1 that summons a Stone Tusk Boar is actually way above power curve. Like a 3 mana 3/3 South Sea Captain that summons a 2/2 charge is with no drawback is way, way too good, right? So every pirate along the curve is basically the best thing you can do compared to like non-pirate stuff. And the result of it is that you just end up with a bunch of decks that are playing, again, the strongest early game thing you can do in the format, which is Patches plus other shit. So, and props to Blizzard, right? I mean, they made every class playable because every class is the same deck, but I think this needs to get addressed, and I think the problem is not Corridor Creeper, despite him being played in every aggro deck. I think he will be played in every aggro deck. That's one of the claims I'm making, I guess. But I think the problem is Patches, and I think the problem's always been Patches. It's not a card that's fun to play against or with. Drawing it is frustrating. The fact that it's made this metagame so degenerate is really frustrating. And the fact that it's pushing out all these cool new strategies that would be available as a result of Kobolds, I think is really frustrating. So I guess like a lot of bold claims, I'm claiming like these decks are going to be the best moving forward. And I mean, there are some exceptions, like Paladin, maybe Murlocs are better than the Pirates, but I mean, just like you can play like South Sea in the Murloc deck anyway, whatever. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Just early game stuff. So, at the end of the day, I think that this needs to get addressed. I think this is a very, very different format without Patches. I think this is a card that never should have been printed in the first place, and people have felt that way for over a year. But, I mean, it's gotten to a point where, like, the metagame is so polished because there's so many expansions out that it's a game of inches, right? So just getting one free 1/1 really is just going to get control of early game boards for you and snowball into wins every time. So if you're not playing a pirate strategy, you're probably just doing something worse. So, I want there to be room for cool wild growth decks. I want Patches to leave so that's possible. I want cool recruit warrior decks. Patches needs to go for that to be a thing. So something needs to change about that card. It needs to like die at end of turn or something. I don't know. But those are my feelings on it. Don't blame Corridor Creeper. Blame Patches. And thank you guys for watching. These are kind of my thoughts on the metagames where I think it will trend once people kind of figure things out. That's just my guess based on like seeing how other card game metagames have evolved. And yeah, shout out to Felix Gray. Thanks for supporting the team. And I will see you guys next time. Later.